Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about how to become a well-rounded front-end developer and get respect by the back-end developers. So let's get into it. Well, this question in question is a good one, and I replied to this kind of directly in the comment section, and I hate to tell you that this is a bit of a tall order to be able to get respect as a front-end developer from back-end developers. So we kind of just have to touch on something first and foremost. So guys, in general, your experiences may of course differ, but most people are actually nice. It's not that common that, at least from what I can see, that people treat you poorly. But in front-end and back-end, it's not uncommon that there is an undertone of something. And that undertone, when you talk to backend developers, is basically that they view you as a sub-version, like a sub-programmer if you do front-end work primarily, or like if that's your focus. And this is kind of where this touches on something that I've said before. It kind of touches on this idea that, all right, so if you're going to be a front-end developer and you truly believe that the only thing that you need to care about is JavaScript, CSS, HTML, some basic JSON and this sort of thing, then you are not a developer per definition, because like a real software developer can do a lot more than this. A real true professional has a greater understanding of this. Now, with that said, however, I'll tell you the only method I know of how to actually gain the respect of a backend developer, or the sort of people who have this sort of attitude towards front-end developers that there's something less than what they are. And the only way I know is literally to become a full-stack developer. I'm one of the few people that I know that enjoy that is treated fairly well by both back-end developers and front-end developers. And the reason is very simple. It is because I can hold a conversation and I can write code at the same level as both groups. Now, that's the only way I know of how to actually gain any form of respect, because the thing is that this person who literally asked how can I avoid annoying back-end developers, and basically what I said is that if you want to annoy a back-end developer, you just have to not understand how their job works. You simply have to have an unprofessional level understanding of software development. And if you don't have any idea how the server works or how to write code at the professional level, then you're going to be in the way at some point. And most likely the sort of developers who have this attitude towards front-end developers are going to view you as someone who they hire just so that they themselves don't have to take care of JavaScript and CSS. That's basically it. That in their mind's eye, that becomes your responsibility. And as long as you do that, everything is fine, right? If you do that part of the job, you don't have to be worried that there's going to be an issue. But if you want more than that, the only way you can get it is, in my experience, to be able to rival their skill level. Usually, what has happened for me, at least the times that I've had this sort of attitude towards me for other developers, from other developers, it usually, I don't have it especially bad, as I said, because I can actually work on their stories and we can discuss their code because I understand what it is that they do and I can do it just as well. But usually what that ends up being is they still, they make fun of front end, they still do, right? But they do it jokingly in a much nicer way, and they don't really look down on you in the same way. You might have to survive some friendly banter and some pokes here and there with a joke or two about JavaScript and how bad it is, but mostly it's friendly, right? But the people who, if you don't have the skills to match them, they will never respect you. It's that simple. They will just look at you as somebody who is there to support them in the real work that they do. And that basically comes down to you doing their JavaScript and CSS for them. But and I also told, the thing I wanted to end on here is basically that I said to this subscriber as well, or rather I asked a question. I think that, I think something that is very relevant here is that, you know, if you think about it, the only way you can gain these people's respect is by doing their job as well as they do. But they don't show you that respect in turn. They don't care, like the people who behave this way, they don't give a shit about CSS and JavaScript. I mean, they just view you as somebody who's responsible for taking care of that. And so I wonder, why do you care about these people in the first place? Because these people, I mean, why is it important for you to get earn the respect of people who shouldn't be, you know, they're not worth your time anyway? I mean, there are plenty of professions out there who have this looming thing over them where some people look at their profession as a subpart or a lesser version of somebody else's profession. I mean, security guards, chiropractors, nurses, life coaches. There's tons of people who could be considered by certain people to be something less than somebody else. And I mean, these people, they live life like they are most. I would assume that quite a lot of them are content with their lot in life, and quite a lot of people depend on these men and women, and that they do what they do. So maybe the solution here is to have a stronger sensation of identity and a bit of more personal security, so that you can focus on the things that truly are important to you, instead of trying to impress somebody who is actually the issue themselves, because you're not the issue. If you're hired to do this job and they look down on you, then then they are, in my world, they are the problem. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you are looking to be a front-end developer and not get in the way or get respect from the back-end developers, I'm sorry to say that the only way I know of is to either have coworkers that, and usually this is the case, at least for me, because, you know, the back-end developers worth your time are usually just nice people, and they will just treat you as any other coworker. But the ones who don't, they will never respect you unless you prove to them that you have skills. And that usually means becoming a full stack developer, and a pretty good one, because that's the only way you're going to be able to impress them with your knowledge of systems development. And you have to, at the end of the day, ask yourself if that's worth something to you. If it is, go for it. If it's not, try to evolve and I would say that you should do that anyway, evolve the emotional stability to be okay with the fact that there are some people out there who will give you a hard time for the choices that you make in life. Have a great day.